Welcome everybody to our second series of Cooking Continents, and we're very excited today because we have Keith Warshow, who in his other life was a doctor, but in this life for tonight he is our chef, and he's going to cook for us an almond Vietnamese curry, and already the recipe sounds mouth-watering. That's our number one. Then we've got another evening, we've got Nathaniel, who I think a lot of you met in the first series, and he will cook us something, I'm sure, related to Kerala, his homeland in southern India. And then we have Bruce and Paul, who are going to home right in to some Scottish dishes. So welcome to the second series, and we look forward to seeing you. And of course, the wonderful thing is we get to eat the meal afterwards.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jane Ansell. I'm the Deputy Chair for Edinburgh Jewish Cultural Centre, and this is our cook for the night, Keith Warshow. And thank you so much, Keith, for coming and doing this. Now, this is our new series, I should say, our second series, which Keith is opening. And I said to Keith, what are you going to cook, what nationality? And he explained to me he was going to do a vegetarian, I was going to say Chinese, because somebody wrote it and said, Vietnamese is really unusual for Jewish people, it's normally Chinese. So I'm just going to ask you to share with us what made you choose Vietnamese curry.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the introduction, Jane. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, you're right about the variety of dishes I'm cooking. I love Vietnamese food. A lot of it is made with a beef base, and I don't eat beef, I don't eat meat. So I looked for vegetarian versions, and I found a very good recipe for an almond and black bean curry, which I thought would be just great. I've made it several times now for family and friends, and it's always gone down well. I also have really enjoyed cooking Italian style cavalo nero, and the funny thing about all this is that I know this is called cooking continents, but when I first got the notice about it, I misread it, and I thought it said crossing continents. So I thought I have to have a dish from at least 2 different continents. So I go on to Italy and Vietnam. It could be more different than that. So that's what I've done.
No, that's absolutely wonderful, and it's not surprising that he thought that, because part of the reason I thought of the title was things like crossing continents, and I just wanted us to be introduced to different cultures' food, and of course to have the chance for those here to have a little taster. So I'm going to go and sit down and enjoy watching Keith. There's already, I don't know if people can see who are watching, but we already have a full table of cut up food, which has taken a while, and there's plenty more to do. So thank you very much, and over to you.
Well, I decided to try and time things so that I would do a lot of the preparation of baking vegetables, so on, before we went on air, but other things I would prepare, and then I was told if I could make sure that things were ready to eat around 8:30, giving me about an hour to actually do the final bit of cooking, and that would be the way to go. So I tried to, this is mostly the ingredients for the curry are here, and for the cavalo nero tomatoes are here. I don't know if some of you have looked at the recipe that was shared online last night. This is an example of what I cooked, what I chopped up. So this is the butternut squash that I haven't roasted in bite-sized pieces, same with aubergine. This is the red pepper in strips. I'll now show you the baked aubergine and butternut squash with bell pepper. Here. Now, cooker doesn't want to be using it as a rest, obviously. Is there? Oh, perfect. So I'm just going to go to start off the last bit of the preparation of curry, which is to add the leek, garlic, chili, and ginger with lemongrass and cook in a big saucepan. So I've got a lovely casserole dish here. So I could probably, I would probably use this for the moment. Ah, that's even better. Thanks to you.
You can just call me the sous chef. I'm really the go far.
Okay. So this casserole dish is here. I've already put garlic in here. We've roasted it. We get temperature up a little bit. And I've already cooked the rice. I don't think anyone would want to see me cook rice. So that's hopefully very fluffy brown rice. So the leek, chili, ginger, and lemongrass, which is mostly here. So the lime will be used later. So
Keith, for those that actually aren't here, the aroma already is getting very enticing for those who are here. Yeah.
this is 2 leeks sliced into rounds, cut diagonally. There's stalks of lemongrass, chili, and about. I tend to use a bit more ginger than is in the recipe. I tend to use. It says about a centimeter cubed. I use more like an inch. So that's going to look good here.
Keith, I'm very curious whether you've seen Vietnamese people cooking this dish. Whether you've seen Vietnamese.
I've never seen Vietnamese people cook this dish. I've been to Vietnamese restaurants and eaten pho and various Vietnamese specialties. And in fact, I've got great memories, particularly in Paris, where you can imagine there's a very big expatriate Vietnamese Jews, and Vietnamese food there is amazing. Never been to Vietnam. The nearest I've been to that part of the world, to that country, is Thailand and Indonesia. Very different cooking. It's interesting how these countries, although quite close together, have very different culinary traditions. I mean, it's so distinctive, the difference between Thai food, Malaysian food, Indonesian food, Vietnamese food. And Vietnamese and Chinese are totally different. So this cooked 10 minutes with a lid on, stirring occasionally. I think you can already smell it coming together. I deseeded the chilies because my guess is that most people want it slightly on the milder side. That landed bottom down. So leave that for a few minutes. And the almond butter, 4 tablespoons, whisked in 500 ml of water as per the recipe as well. So, and I've got I've got my spices here. Just putting those a little bit in the center stage.
Would you tell people about the green that you've chosen?
Sure. So this is cavalo nero, and I'll just show you the stalks so you can see how I prepare it. I think it might be back in that bag actually. I thought I left it on the table. This bag right behind you. Oh yeah.
No. I have an awful feeling that I'm.
Well, I wanted to show, I actually did want to show people what it looks like when you buy it from the shop, and you can buy it from most supermarkets now. Basically how I prepare it. And so I'm not on camera now, but I will be then in just a moment. Okay. So, this is a stalk of cavalo nero. Many people don't seem familiar with it, but I've used it for quite a long time. And the stalks themselves, the actual spines are not the easiest things to use in cooking. So what some people do, what I do, you can either go very quickly by just tearing the spine there and just whisking it off, or I just do this. And the secret, as with all vegetable cooking, is the size of whatever it is you cut it to. So with cavalo nero, more so even than kale, I find it cooks much better if you slice it very thinly, just really very thinly, ideally with a large sharp knife. So you have very small pieces. Like that. So that's what I do with cavalo. There's a big plate of it. It's already been prepared and washed. I also have tomatoes, watered, and I love rosemary. Fresh rosemary is a wonderful thing, and I don't stint on that. And what I do is I peel the leaves off like that, and I'll do that as we go along and chop it quite finely.
We actually have rosemary in the garden. I love it too. I should have told you.
I would have not bothered to.
I love rosemary, yes.
And it's not in the recipe I forwarded, but I love this Italian seasoning variety of Italian because I usually add that quite early on in cooking. But especially when you're using, it says haricot beans in the recipe. I use cannellini beans. I love them. Cannellini beans with rosemary. I love the combination. It's nice. So that cooks very quickly, that dish. So I'm going to leave that for a little bit until I get the curry on. Let's see how we play with it.
You can answer this, or it's bad to put you on the spot. What does curry mean?
Oh,
It's just that I've always meant to ask someone and I never have. I don't know if anyone.
I've always thought it was as an Indian word, but I didn't know what it meant. Did you know it?
I think that it's the English who've called it curry, and whereas an Indian person usually calls it by its true name.
That would fit,
Yeah,
because the Nathaniel often have other names.
like that, or
Yes, whatever it is,
Yes.
it's not just one thing.
part of colonialism.
Yeah.
So, 10 minutes, add the almond butter, cook it on your kindness. Okay. So it's not been about quite 10 minutes, we'll give it a couple more minutes. Almond butter. Coconut milk. So I bought 2 tins of coconut milk because I used slightly larger quantities. I wasn't sure how many people would be eating, so I wanted to be sure that No, I went hungry. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes with the one tin. So these are the 4 tablespoons of almond butter, whisked with 500 ml of water. I'll add that now. Do I get all of that gorgeous almond butter? Oh,
Keith, you have exact recipes and exact quantities, totally unlike my cooking, right?
okay.
Which is not necessarily a good thing. But do you vary it at all? Do you taste and then maybe sometimes check?
Usually, I check the seasoning. My policy generally is to follow a recipe almost exactly as much as I can at the start, and then I will modify it. Because this way, I found several variations of this recipe, and I found that, like for instance, it mentions several sweeteners. I always use honey, and I use soy sauce. They gave a number of alternatives in the recipe, and interestingly, the recipe I got is available online, but it also comes from a well-known book written by some Irish guys who also have a version of this. So there's a number of places where you can get this recipe. I found it online because I wanted to find an easy form to create a Word document and transmit it to everyone who would be watching. And the cavalo nero dish, that's again very well established. So, do I have an exact system? Not really, but I try and stick to the quantities, especially for some Asian dishes, it can make a big difference, especially when it comes to the seasoning. So I tend to be quite careful. Sometimes it's very easy to err on the side of under seasoning, but with spicy seasonings, you can very easily overdo it as well. And I've been known to do that. So coconut milk. Here. And lime juice. So
I have a request from online that yeah, that you to do it this way.
right, sure. No, I'll try.
It's very hard because the rest of the audience, of course, people is trying to talk and cook.
I'm trying hard to engage and
Yes, no, it's hard.
I've never done a presentation of cooking. Usually in my kitchen, it's cooking goes everywhere. And
it's only because it's hard, obviously, if you do it this way, but you have to have a compromise.
so
We do want food at the end.
And I'm happy to
don't
take
we,
questions. And if there's anybody watching online that wants to ask me anything, if there's any message that comes across, just tell me. Okay.
Maybe anybody who wants to online can write in chat. Would you be able to pick it up, Anna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay.
So juice of 2 limes.
I know you've got somebody watching in Israel.
Wow.
Oh.
So there's all sorts of ways of juicing 2 limes. I have a juicer at home. But I often use a spoon. It does just a great job, and I can't see any pips in here, so that's pretty nice. Juice of 2 limes. Sparkling.
Just don't think of that if you
I try and smile and look very relaxed.
Your pots.
It'll taste good, honestly. Okay, and 2 tablespoons of honey. So squeeze the honey here.
Maybe one of our Israeli listeners could tell us if there is Vietnamese food in Israel. I'm sure there would be in
There must
Tel Aviv, but I don't remember seeing any in Jerusalem.
I have to say, when I was there, I didn't look for Vietnamese foods.
You were looking for falafel, of course.
And I went to some of the falafel places that just about everybody recommends. You're right. It's a very good country to be a vegetarian in, I would say. So that's 2 tablespoons of honey. Okay, so turmeric, paprika, coriander, cumin, salt, and black pepper. So the turmeric is 2 teaspoons each of turmeric and pepper. So, here. So teaspoons in here, isn't that? Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Have to do my job. Otherwise, I'll do the thing.
Well, yeah, you can settle in around your kitchen for the last couple of hours. Actually. So that's turmeric. I never knew that turmeric was really used in Vietnamese cooking.
I think nowadays it seems to be used in everything, including just turmeric tea, isn't it?
And also, this is probably a very Western take on a traditional Vietnamese dish. It's probably got a lot of influences in it that will be able to Vietnam. would be my guess. Coriander. Now, I use coriander seed, which I've mortared and pestled. So I'll put it in here. And what about the rest? So salt, black pepper. I tend to be quite low salt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 remaining tablespoons of soy sauce. If you read the recipe, you would have seen there was some soy sauce in the baked vegetables. So just add a little bit more. And mix well. You're going to rinse the black beans, which I've already done. They're on the table in that bowl. So I'm just going to mix this well. Make sure that now I could. The only sad thing is there isn't a camera showing you what's actually inside the sauce.
Well, the
I can
company that
move the
absolutely
camera.
can be. She's totally mobile.
This is what. Is there a light under here, Jane?
Sorry.
Is there a light in there? No.
Oh, possibly.
I won't open it in case anything.
No. The mic, try the light.
But that's where we are now.
There is a light, but whether it's.
But you know, I don't think there's a bulb with it. No, it's, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. And then really rinse the black beans. First, the string onions, rinse the beans first. Add the black beans to the pan with squash, peppers, and aubergine. Okay. Black beans into the pan. Actually, I think the black beans are on the lots of this dish. These are probably not too hot to handle them. Sorry, just getting the rest of my roast vegetables. I might, just because I've used slightly more vegetables than are in the recipe, I might break open the remaining tin of coconut milk. But you might want to have a look at this now. It is quite colourful. Maybe add about half. It's more like the consistency I'm used to. Now that can happily simmer for a few minutes, and I will chase with seasoning in a few moments. Now, maybe ask Hannah or one of the people here to give me their opinion, especially when it comes to salt and pepper. Right. So,
It seems like if you think about, you know, this is autumn coming winter, and this is a really good dish to do.
very much so.
Yeah.
But there's something very heartwarming about this dish here, which is relatively easy and a lot of fun. So we'll move on to that. That will take us about 20 minutes, and hopefully we'll be on schedule to eat. Perfect. So, so I'm going to leave chopping the onions to the last possible moment, because otherwise people are going to wonder why I'm crying. Red onions are really guaranteed from me. So again, slightly larger quantities than are down in the recipe. So I'm going to use 3 cloves of garlic rather than 2. And nothing divides people more than how you prepare garlic for a dish.
Tell us
I
more.
have to confess, I'm not a great fan of garlic dressings. And I tend to either mince garlic, I tend to flatten it and mince it with a sharp knife, or I have a plate, a serrated plate that's used just for garlic that I got in France many years ago, as you rub. And that really brings out the garlic flavor. In fact, I was once asked by someone after I put it in the dishwasher if I threw it in a time. But it was really a strong garlic smell. If I've not set up any smoke on these. Good. I tend to flatten the garlic with my palm on my hand. There. And then cut into. I find that step's really quite important. Yeah, if you're not hit by a strong garlic smell, you've not done it. Okay. So you've got 3 tablespoons of here that you're going to use. Garlic and rosemary. And I will show you how to do the rosemary. Nathaniel, hello there. How are you? So, rosemary, fresh sprigs. I always use what the recipe says. I just peel it just like that. Take it off the stem. And so I'm going to use. Sorry about the leaves going everywhere, but we'll wash before put on the plate. And I just chop it as fine as I can. I can't emphasize strongly enough how a sharp knife makes a massive difference to everything. And no matter how good your knives are when you're driving, they really need to be sharpened regularly.
Getting it telling off. It's true. Nathaniel will verify. You're right.
So you should now be able to smell the rosemary from that end of the room. If not, I've not done it. That's possibly enough. I've left one in reserve. Onion. But here we go. Interestingly, let's see what the recipe calls for. I will probably, yes, it says peeled and roughly chopped. So peeled, halved, cut like so. I tend to go with this, and then a technique to not using your fingers when you do this. And I hear the curry bubbling away, so I think we put that into a simmer now.
Maybe we can ask Nathaniel the question that we asked about.
Yes.
Is curry an English word then?
No,
So tell us, I was saying, what is the translation now?
it is actually from South India.
Oh.
Yeah, because right now North Indian people say curry is an English word and used mostly by British people to describe dishes, but it's actually a South Indian term. In Tamil and in Malayalam, we say curry for vegetables. So we say ela curry for vegetables and vala curry for vegetables. So and then anything, it's the same in Persian and in Hindi they would say sabzi for vegetables. The same way we use the word curry. So any dishes with vegetables.
So,
curry.
What does it?
Would you like me to get your spoon and you can?
I'm so afraid if I drop the camera.
I'm tasting all the
Or it could be that.
I'm happy to taste it.
So
I'm a low salt person though.
Okay.
You know what? If I taste and Nathaniel tastes, then we're opposites.
Okay.
Because he has more salt than I have.
Well, I put a little bit on the spoon for you.
And anyway, I can't wait another. I don't have any. Oh, look at the colours. Okay, right. It is absolutely delicious. It's like something I've never tasted anything like it. It's delicious.
Is it too hot?
No, but it's just all right. But Nathaniel will say it isn't hot enough. You want
I
to
made a
taste?
point of taking, of deseeding the chili,
It's delicious.
but.
And for me, it's just right, but I couldn't take it.
But is it
any
okay
longer.
with you? I mean, I wonder if it needs any more spice or paprika.
Well, I couldn't take much more, but you can ask everyone else. Do you want to have a little taste? Anyone else?
And we'll just let that simmer for a little bit. I've got fresh rice prepared.
You want to have a quick taste?
Yeah, I have it at the end.
Maybe wait, yeah.
But it's
But if you,
it's a lovely combination.
okay, great, good. We'll let that simmer. a little bit.
Just enough to feel in your throat, but for me to swallow.
Great, good to hear. Well, we're on to a winner then. Meanwhile, will I use the induction side of the cooker? Yes, I'll do that. I've needed Jane by my side to help guide me around the kitchen and cook in the oven. So. Fantastic. Maybe around 4, is it out of 5 or?
Are you sure? Because that's quite high.
Oh, what, right, 5 then, we'll stick with 5. I'll get 9.
So it's on. That's the only way it can work.
So I usually cook with olive oil. Let's see, it's from the next stuff. You didn't find the curry too sweet, did you?
I didn't.
Good. It's called Vietnamese sweet almond curry.
No, well, the almond and the coconut just blend beautifully.
Okay, so let's just check that's getting warm. And as soon as that heats up, I just increase that slightly. Ooh, that's it. So minced garlic, red onion, and rosemary. Going to go into the saucepan, the frying pan, a wok. Maybe some tasty. Haven't got one. And it does say let this fry for about 10 minutes so the onion is getting translucent. I have to say, I don't think the recipe actually says specifically a red onion, but I just love red onion in this dish.
Even though they don't love you.
So, with the onions and salt, tomatoes, beans, and it's unbelievable. Can you smell that, Hannah?
Yes, I can feel it in my eyes as well.
It's very important not to let the onions properly soften. If you're using white onions, you're putting weight so that it becomes translucent. Mm. And as I said, I often add Italian seasoning. This is not in the recipe, but it's a combination of oregano. Got two. I've had this argument with a couple of people. Americans call oregano oregano.
Yes.
And I had this conversation, and I've been told that actually we Brits are wrong and the Americans are right for a change. Yeah.
I've never heard the other pronunciation.
That's how I say it.
Yeah.
Oregano.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I used to think it was oregano, but it's oregano.
Yeah. How do Irish people say it? It's a bit Italian.
It sounds, yes, it makes it sound a bit Italian.
Have a choice. Yeah, have a phone for it.
Okay, now these onions are doing very nicely. And the curry is bubbling away nicely. We'll be adding the beer sprouts and the pepper.
Now you're asking. Do you know,
If not, it doesn't matter.
I can give you a cover, but not the cover.
Okay. I think okay. So what I love about what happens when you add tomatoes and beans is the way the tomato is set. And say, I love the way the white beans take over the original flavor. Do you know what? I think I want to use this.
Yes.
That, yeah. So, tomatoes and beans have been added. I'm going to add the cavalo nero in a moment. Let's then I add the cavalo nero. And this is where it really is important that you have cut the cavalo nero quite finely, possibly more finely than I have. Have a big impact on cooking time. The tomatoes have disappeared under all of that, but like kale, like ordinary kale with cooking, it goes down to a fraction of its original volume. Like you just do that a bit. You actually already see how the nero is, which you see in size. And volume.
There's a very virtual relationship between the table getting emptier and the cups getting fuller.
Yes. I hope the smells are also.
Amazing.
Oh, Jane, would you mind reading the question from the chat?
So we've got about another 15 minutes. I could have used the extra onion, but decided not to.
Okay, so can one use with mango leaves instead of kale? It's not kale, right?
This cavalo nero is probably related to kale. I've never used chard in this dish, so I don't know. I believe it's got quite a different flavour, but and it would probably be less Italian. But on the other hand, it's probably worth trying. I don't know the answer to that. Okay, let's do this down and let it simmer for a few minutes. Okay. So spring onions, bean sprouts, and flaked almonds are still to go on the curry, but I always leave the bean sprouts to the very last moment simply because they do become soggy and unappealing if they go in too soon. I've got the flaked almonds right here, already roasted. Oops. Bean sprouts and spring onion. In terms of spice, Nathaniel, would you like to have a taste of this?
Oh, yes, sure.
Oh, just wait. Just try some sauce. So I'll just put it all on this plate. Yeah. And we'll just see what you think.
It's nice, but it can have a bit more salt, probably.
More salt.
You see, I know straight
I'll be
away.
honest with you, I've added no salt.
Yeah, I can cook with salt, Natalia, but I always have this thing on salt.
But you're absolutely right. They're probably missing more salt. And that's unrelated. And look, how about the other flavors?
It's nice.
I think the salt will bring it out more.
Yeah.
Really?
So what I want to do is I want to add, I guess it's a large quantity, I want to add almost a teaspoon
Something from water.
Things like something from home, curry, yeah?
But you're right, and I'm often given a hard time by my son and daughter about the lack of salt in my cooking.
I think you're quite true. It's like to add on too little and too much. Yeah.
So. So what about another 5 minutes to go? And I won't be ready to read.
Excellent silence, Windsor.
Not too bad.
Excellent.
Keith, would you like people, after they've tried to do their own version, to write into you?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm sure there are plenty of people who will try this. So, obviously, they've not seen. I arrived a good hour or so before we started going online, just to make sure that I knew my way around the kitchen. Jane was able to help me find what I needed. I'll just.
So probably people can see we're just left with the last couple of things, and all these things have gone into the dish. And wow, that's what a dish like this was made for.
So there's
Yes.
rice there, brown rice, and cavalo nero.
Did you go up to this the idea?
Yes.
I just adore all the different colours.
So good to see them all there.
Keith and I were talking because I said to him, well, Keith, maybe I should have opted for your food processor. And then we both actually agreed that chopping is sort of part of the whole thing.
I was just thinking, why what the food processor was used?
It's interesting. I have one at home as well. I prefer to chop. Right. So, Jane, would you like to have a taste of this?
Couldn't say no.
So, it's quite clean to me. I don't know if you want to. I'll put it on the plate, and you can tell me what you think of the seasoning.
It's not that it's resisting.
The cavalo might still need another minute or two.
Lovely. No, it's nice. It's sort of chewy and fresh. And I mean, I wouldn't put any salt anymore or any salt, but I also put that salt.
I'm going to add a little bit of lemon to it.
Yes, a little bit of lemon.
It's not too spicy, is it?
No, not at all.
Good.
Not at all.
Good.
It's just so fresh. It's lovely. It's so fresh, and you can both taste each part of it, and yet it blends together.
Sounds good. I'm going to reach the spoon and give myself a chance to shine. Just want to check the leaves are nice and soft because they sometimes you don't want to undercook them.
And that's a very delicate balance, isn't it? Between overcooking and undercooking vegetables.
It's just a couple more minutes, I think.
So Keith, I think probably people have seen you go the whole way through from beginning to the end and eat. You're not going to add anything, or are you?
I'm going to add spring onion.
Oh, yes, we haven't had the bean sprouts.
We're going to practice that.
That wouldn't be so good.
So the bean sprouts just at the very end. And I'll add a little bit of lemon juice to. And might shoot to add a little bit more seasoning to this. You can see how small how the cavalo is reduced in volume so much. Oh, I think you were pushing against the washing machine. So I'm going to ask Nathaniel to take another taste and see if the amount of salt is.
This was wrong.
Was that your spoon? Okay, I will. You're probably going to say it needs a bit more still.
Well, I think I'm a minority.
There we go.
It's fine.
That means I've added too much.
It's like could have more salt, but it's fine.
That means it is fine. What does the cook think? I guess every time you make it, it's slightly
It
different.
is slightly different each time,
Yes.
but I feel this is good. And this is such a versatile dish. You can add it to pasta. You can actually use it as a base for soups. You can top it with pesto. So many things you can do with that.
Absolutely.
So, so Nathaniel's said that's good. I will taste it again. Now that's slightly more than the quantity of bean sprouts in the recipe. I'm going to add most of it. And of course, we need some flaked almonds. I want it to be bean sprouts on that. Bean sprouts just like kale shrink very quickly in a dish. I think that should be it. So we have rice. Okay. We get bowls and plates.
Yes, well, I think this, sadly for the people online, is where we say bye-bye. And thank you so much to Keith. It's been not only just an incredible experience being part of it, but it's been fun as well, hasn't it? It really has. I'm afraid we can't wait to eat it, so I'm going to make the end bit of this very quick. But this is the beginning of another 3-part series. We've got one couple who do Scottish dishes, and Natalia, we're hoping you come back with some more of your dishes. I'm sure you will. But can we thank Keith? We, the eaters, will thank Keith properly when it's well in our stomachs. But I'm sure on behalf of the people online and the people who are going to look at the recording, and even our lovely dog here, I want to thank you so much for coming out in a horrible night like this and introducing us to Vietnamese cooking. Thank you, Keith.
You're very welcome, Jane. It's a pleasure being here and getting to know your kitchen and producing some dishes. And I'm looking forward to a fine meal with fine company.
Thank you.